Hello there, my name is Marnie Homer and I am from Copywriters International. I am known as the Queen of Content Creation, but today the spotlight is on our legend, Simon Bowden. How are you, Simon?
Yeah, not too bad, Marnie. How are you?
I am amazing. Thank you very much for asking. So, Simon, for the people out there, why don't we just get straight into it? And why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are and what it is that you do?
All right. Well, my name is Simon Bowden. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a business marketing coach, as distinct from just a business coach. So I'm a master coach, which means that I've coached in excess of 10,000 hours. And because I've been doing this for 25 plus years, I would probably guess that it's probably around 25,000 hours. So I've been doing it for a long time and I'm very passionate about what I do.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Awesome. Okay. All right. Great. So tell us, what is the difference between like a business coach and a business marketing coach?
Okay. So a business coach primarily, we do pretty much the same sort of thing. However, the difference is because I've come from a very strong marketing background, I always try to look at ways of being able to improve their return on investment pretty much straight away from day one. So whereas a business coach might get in and look at procedures and that type of thing to try to streamline, which is all good, but it doesn't necessarily generate an income straight away. So what I try to do is I have developed over 207 different marketing strategies over a number of years. I'm not going to go into that because it makes me feel old. However, what I normally do is when I take on a new client, generally speaking, the issues or one of the issues may be that they need more sales. So what I try to do is in the first instance, we get in, we create a strategy in and around one of their issues or problems. So therefore, from day one, we're pretty much generating an income based on implementing a new strategy within the organisation. So therefore, when that happens, they're getting new sales or they're finding new clients. So therefore, during that process, then we can look at things like procedures and systems and things like that. So that's really what the difference is. You know, there is other business coaches out there that do look into marketing, but they might have a big folder. But marketing is, on page 275, and it might take six or more months to get to marketing. So that's the difference, really. And because I've come from a very strong marketing background, that's where my expertise lies in. So I might as well use it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because I suppose when you think about it, when a lot of people think about business coaching, it's, let's say, so we're in a real, like, we want results now world, aren't we?
Yeah, very much so. Yes.
Yeah, and so if people aren't getting results within the first hour, pretty much, they could be like, chomping at the bit, wondering why I'm spending all this money on this coaching. Whereas, in my view, good things take time, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Look, I've picked up new clients that have been coached by other business coaches before, and they might be 6 months into it, and they haven't seen a return on investment and at all, and it's worrying for them, and it puts that doubt into their mind, and sort of thinking, well, we're spending a lot of money in this. Into investing in our business, and we haven't seen that return on investment. When is it going to come? And probably as the months go on, it's becoming more and more of an issue. And I've seen, there's been a number of clients that I've picked up over the years that have been into 6 months, even 8 months of other coaches where they've had to terminate their contract, and invariably they've come with me, or I've been able to help them in some way.
Because maybe they weren't just needing a straight business coach. Maybe they were needing that marketing side more than just.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's one of the issues actually you've raised, and thank you for that, is because when a business owner gets themselves into trouble, they don't necessarily seek out the right type of person because they don't know who to actually ask for. I've had people come to me in the past, and I've always asked them how they found me. and they say, oh, look, we went through our accountant, and our accountant suggested that we contact a coach. And we just Googled the closest coach, and you're the one, sort of thing. And so it would be lovely to work out a structure down the track of being able to highlight business coaching as a fully fledged marketing opportunity to help your business. But unfortunately we're not yet on the radar from that point of view.
Right.
Business owners, yeah.
Yeah, because I think that's a very important point, because I mean, like you and I had discussed some coaching that I've had from other people in the past as well. And, I mean, like there's been some times where I've wondered why I'm even doing what I'm doing, because we seem to be not gaining any ground. Yeah. And I think that's one of the really important things that a lot of business owners need to understand, that, if it's because things aren't going well, which is when they're normally going to call a business coach, then they need to find someone who's going to be able to get them results fast.
Yeah, correct. And yeah, look, I've had people in my office, I've had grown men in tears sitting at my desk and saying, look, if I don't get quick results, I'm going to lose my business, I'm going to lose my family, I'm going to lose my wife, I'm going to lose everything if I can't turn this around quickly enough. And it's an awful place to be coming from. Puts the expectation back on me. But the thing is, I've been able to help some of those people and at least get their business back into a positive rather than going down the gurgler, from a negative point of view.
That's exactly right. And I guess when they're in that position, I mean, like, they're coming to you because they're at the last, they're on the edge, really.
Yeah, they are.
Aren't they? So.
Yeah. Not all coaches, not all clients are like that though. It's only actually, funny enough, a small percentage that are really desperate for help. I attract all types of clients. I've got clients that are doing extremely well and are looking for coaching to be able to lift them to a new level. So, one particular client of mine is doing exceptionally well, and they're actually looking at coaching for a totally different, I suppose an opportunity to look at different markets and be able to, even look into buying other businesses that may be able to support them. So, it's not just for people that are struggling in business. It's also the reverse as well. People that are growing really quickly and don't know how to put the right procedures in place for that growth. So there's a multitude of different reasons why people need a coach.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you think about it, like people like Tony Robbins, I mean, they still have coaches, believe it or not.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. So
the easiest analogy I use is, think of, a football playing field, and you've got the two teams, all of those 18 players on each side need a coach. You may be the best player in the league, but if you don't have a coach, they're not going to push you to greatness. So we all need a coach, seriously, and I use a coach from time to time myself as well. So just to understand things. Sometimes you need to be able to look inside a business, not from your own personal point of view, but you need an outsider to look in. And find some little issues that may need rectifying.
Okay, all right, cool, awesome. And it's good to know, because a lot of people sort of like go on the, oh my God, things aren't going well, I need a coach. But it's good to know that there's other needs for them as well. Like getting to that next level. I mean, like you don't know what you don't know, right?
That's right. Yeah.
And
I don't vouch to know everything either. Put me in a room to do some brain surgery. Do I know how to do that? No, I don't.
No.
I wouldn't have the first clue how to do it. So we all are really good at what we do.
Yes.
But sometimes we need help to be able to bring other services around. Because even for myself, I've got 4 or 5 different people that support me in what I do. I've got an accountant, I've got a solicitor, I've got a HR person, I've got Naomi is my brand advisor. So
Mm-hmm.
if I'm with a client and they need help in another area, I just
Mm-hmm.
naturally refer to that one of those people like Naomi, for argument's sake.
Mm, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, we really do. It's funny. I was on an interview the other day, and I often use the line when someone says, "Can you do?" I go, "Yes, I can." But I mean, like if somebody asked me if I could do brain surgery, well, then I'm stuck. And no, I'm not going to have a go at it.
I can imagine you, Maney, just sort of saying, "Oh yeah, look, you pass the scalpel over. I'm sure I could give it a go."
Don't know whether I'm that brave. It's a bit gooey for me, actually. So Simon, on that note, like a marketing coach and like so many years experience, like tell me where all of this started.
Oh, wow. Okay, take you right back. Okay, so from a very early age, I often say that my business journey started very young. In fact, I was about 7 years old, and like every young boy, I wanted a bike. And I came from a separated family, and my mum was on the pension, and it was the three of us. I've got a brother and a sister. And of course, money was tight. This is going back to about 1974, and
Mm-hmm.
and things were tough. You know, Mum was on the pension, and yeah, things were really tough. So, you know, Mum turned around to me and said, you know, look, if you want a bike, you're going to have to save up for it. And you know, it was a lot of money back then to buy a bike.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought, well, you know what? I'm going to create my own income. I'm going to go out and I'm going to create a lawn mowing round. So what I did is I got myself all dressed up. I say in my Sunday best,
Yes.
and I went door to door. And I even from a young age, I realised the opportunity to market myself effectively. So what I did is I actually did it. So the wife was home, not the husband,
Mm-hmm.
because I felt that I could appeal to the female more than the male. Because what I did is I knocked on the door and I was all dressed up, and when she entered the door, I'd have a big smile, and I would say to her things like, you know, don't worry about the lawns. You know, your husband should be taking you out on the weekends and spoiling you and taking you for coffee and taking you down the beach and things like that. Don't worry about the lawns. I'll have them all finished by the time you get home. So of course, you know, she was sort of saying, "Oh my God, how can you say no?"
Yeah, like
So, yeah, so and what I did is very, very quickly I built a really good little business. So I'd get home from school each night, each day, and throw my school bag in the corner and get myself dressed, and away I went. And I think I had 25 clients within the first few days, and
nice.
and you know they felt so sorry for me. I think looking back
Yeah.
now, I think I was only charging like $5 a lawn, but you know some clients would give me 10, some would even give me more.
Yeah.
It didn't take long to actually save up what I really needed, and I had a great little income of, you know, with all of these clients, and there was more and more wanting to come on and get me to do their work too. So it actually got to the point where I was actually giving money back to Mum to support, you know, the pension. So that's how it was. So
Oh, lovely. Yeah.
that's where I started. So yeah, so I went off to uni, and I was in the marketing communications area, um, and then I went into an advertising agency,
Mm-hmm.
and worked there for a period of 6 months on an internship, with one of the top 3 agencies in Melbourne at that time. And then, like any young, dynamic person, I suppose, it was like, oh, I can do this. So I then decided to get out on my own and start my own business. So I started that very early on, and day one, I didn't have a client. So I had to go out and find myself a client day one. Day two, I think I had 3 clients. Day 4, I think I had about 5 clients.
Mm-hmm.
So I quickly built that to the point where, you know, we had in excess of $1 million easily. And we had up to about 15 staff.
Mm-hmm.
And that was primarily a graphic design studio. And of course I was coaching then on the side as well. So back in the late I think it was 1996. No, it was great. No, it was 2006, I think it was. I finished up, I went through a marriage divorce, and at that stage I thought I needed to offload the graphic design studio. So I sold that literally overnight, and then continued, and to this day still coaching, as I've always, my passion has always been in the coaching side. Yeah, the graphic design was great at the time, early on in the piece, but as the internet got stronger, you know, you could see a slight decline in the graphic design, or it was changing face. So as we used to know it. I used to have clients, you know, some of the larger clients in the city, graphic advertising agencies, they would employ us to do corporate design work, and you know, they were paying big bucks for us to do it. And but eventually that all started to close up, and it became hard. So yeah, so I sold that business, and what you see today is the coaching business. And that's what I've been doing ever since, and I absolutely love it. I'm passionate about it, passionate about my clients,
Yes.
and I'll see them succeed. Yeah.
Awesome. It's good that you mentioned that word passion, because I think that's one of the most important things when you go into any business, isn't it? You've got to have that passion. You've got to have that. Otherwise, you don't have that drive, do you?
That's right, exactly. Look, you know, many people come up to me and they say things like, you know, I really want to do what you do. And I say, but you're not the right person for coaching, because you don't have that, you know, empathy and the passion for being able to help people. I think you need to be a special person to be able to do that, and you know, to teach people and advise them accordingly. Not everyone can do that.
Yeah.
Some people can get frustrated in doing it, for argument's sake.
Yeah.
And yeah, it doesn't necessarily suit everybody.
Yeah, it's funny because I was actually told by a business coach some 15 years ago that I was not cut out to be a coach myself. And I found out they were right. But do you know, I mean, like, you know, I mean, I'm very good at it. Like pretty much whatever I put my mind to, I can do. But it didn't sit well with me. And so I went and found my passion, which obviously is now copywriting and and helping people that way, rather than like the actual coaching. So what would you say, like, you know, out of all that you've experienced, give us an example where you've really helped somebody, like, you know, hit their target, or, you know, really expand?
Okay, gosh, there's many. Okay, probably one of my, actually, I'll there's a couple actually. I'll share with you. A smaller business, which is a maintenance company. I was called because they were in trouble. Okay, they owed the tax man a lot of money, probably tested $200,000. There was only the two of them in the business, two directors, and they hadn't paid themselves a wage since they started the business 2 years ago. And as a result, just getting in, they didn't know what was going on, and the more they were trading, every day they were going down the gurgler even more. So I was lucky enough to be referred to that business, and I got in, and basically, as I say, I pull it all apart. I work out what's working and what's not working. What's not working, I throw out, and then strategies that do work. So it was just a matter of looking at it. They were so undervaluing their work, even from an hourly rate point of view. So we implemented a total new system for quoting, and even sourcing outside work, and just looking at ways of being able to look at ways of quoting their business to win more work. And as a result of doing that, within a very short period of time, I think it was less than 12 months, it was probably about 8 months, they had paid, we had a payment plan in place to pay off the tax debt. Pretty much the tax debt had been pretty well cleared, and they were paying themselves a wage for the very first time. And,
wow.
And that was incredible to hear, actually.
Yeah.
So, you know, didn't take too long until they were able to change turn their business around. So, and look at that, at the end of the day, they did it.
Mm.
And they were very, it was very much like, well, if Simon says we've got to do this, we've got to do it. So,
Yes.
it was pleasing that they stuck to their goal. And at the end of the day, they're the ones that, get the credit, because they were the ones that actually did the work. And it was hard work, but they did it. So, and then yet another client who's doing exceptionally well. I've been coaching them for about 5 years now. It's an engineering company. And we've actually even gone overseas together and sourced product from overseas to actually help them in their business. And, they make a certain four-wheel drive product. They're only making about 3 a day when I first started with them. And now they're making anything up to 20 products a day.
Brilliant.
So, they're probably 10 times bigger than what they were previously, with not that many extra staff. So it's just, again, just internal systems, better ways of doing things, and marketing them better. Yeah.
Awesome.
It's just a couple of examples, yeah.
Awesome, fantastic. All right. So for anyone out there that's watching the interview who have been contemplating taking on a business coach or even a business marketing coach, one of the things you said earlier is that sometimes people just like, that one. So what's some tips you could give anyone listening about how to choose the right coach? What should they be looking for?
Okay, so there's probably a number of things to look for. The first one would be making sure that they're actually a full-time coach. There is many coaches out there that are actually supporting their wage, let's say, having a second or third job. So they're not full-time coaches. So if I was you, I'd be selecting a full-time coach and making sure that you're getting your absolute best from the person that you select. So I would even go into checking up on, do your due diligence as well. So go in to find them on LinkedIn, have a look at their reviews, have a look at Google reviews and see what other people say. You, by all means, contact that particular coach and ask for people's phone numbers that are actually current clients. I've had that before, and I've said, well, how many people would you like to talk to? I'm happy to give out phone numbers and talk to half a dozen if you want to.
Yes.
I don't have any issue with that. So, but yet a lot of coaches do. Another one would be making sure that the business coach has actually run a business. Yes. Interesting enough, there is a number of business coaches out there that have actually never, ever run a business. It still surprises me to this day. So, sometimes people refer, I was talking to Mario Beckers not that long ago, and he was saying to me, there's a business coach on every single corner.
Yes.
And it feels like that sometimes because, people see it as a very lucrative industry to get into, but you've got to be good at what you do.
Yeah.
And, very few actually really make it as a coach. So, and probably the last one is talk to them about what's your expectation. Work out what your expectation is, what you're trying to achieve, and get some feedback from that particular coach in even the timeline of how long they would expect it may take to get them to that point of what their expectation would be. And ask them also, perhaps while you're talking to them, what other industries that have they worked with that would be similar to your own? Because some coaches do specialise in certain industries. There's coaches out there that all they do is look after the dental industry, for argument's sake, or the medical industry. I myself, I look after pretty much all industries. However, there is plenty of coaches out there that do specialise. So if you want a specialised coach in your industry, chances are you'll probably find it, or find someone that actually has worked in your industry to a certain extent. Okay. So the last one is find out if they've got a contract. Many coaches and organisations out there have a contract, and they will get you to sign a 12-month contract. However, I don't believe in contracts, as you know, Manie.
Yes, I do, yes.
I am one of very, very few that don't have a contract, because I believe I would like to be treated the way I would like to be treated. And likewise, if I'm not good enough to keep your business, you are free to leave and find another coach. Now, if you're locked into another coach and you're only 3 months into a 12-month stint and you don't like who you're dealing with, it can be very difficult to get out of a contract. So all I would say is do your due diligence and ask around and see who you can be referred to. Or if you're doing a Google search, just do your due diligence on LinkedIn, on Google, and check their website out as well.
Yeah, definitely really important. I mean, I know of people that have been in that 12-month contract and there hasn't been a fit. It hasn't worked out for them yet. They haven't been able to escape that contract, and they've ended up owing thousands of dollars and not even taking part in the coaching.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. A lot of coaches still use direct debit. So they sign you up to a direct debit, so it just comes out automatically every month. I don't do that. I actually invoice my clients.
Yes.
However, don't get caught. If you don't know, sometimes you don't know what you're getting yourself in for. So, there's plenty of people around, feel free to give me a call. I'm happy to even have a chat to you, even if you don't go with me, that's fine. I just don't want to see you being caught.
Awesome. All right. So for anyone that's been mesmerized by you today, which is not difficult, you're an amazing guy, tell us how we can get hold of you.
Okay. So probably the easiest way is I'm very active on LinkedIn. You just type in Simon Bowden and there I'll come up as a marketing business coach. Or else you can check out my website. My website is www.simonbowden.com.au. So
awesome.
The two easiest ways to get in contact with me. Shoot me a message and I'll get back to you ASAP.
Awesome. Yes, no, I'm a big LinkedIn fan as well. I mean, that's where we met, wasn't it, Simon? Pretty much. Yeah. All right. So one last word just before we finish the interview. Any parting thought you'd like to leave with the people that are watching?
Yeah, look, I think for the business owners out there particularly, please don't put your head in the sand. If things are not going necessarily, as expected, or you are not achieving the results that you really want or by a certain time, don't think that the issues are just going to go away. Okay, so in other words, don't put your head in the sand. Please just reach out for help. There's people around that can actually help. They can give you some advice. You don't necessarily have to sign up for coaching. I'm always very happy to just help people and just give them advice. So, just a little bit of advice can go a long way in somebody's business. So always happy to help. As I say, I'm passionate about helping people, and that's just who I am. So, but don't leave it to chance. A little bit of advice can go a long way to help you be successful.
Awesome. Amazing. Simon, thank you so much for being on this interview with me today. I only ever choose the best to interview, naturally, because it is Interview with a Legend, and you are definitely that. I am honoured to know you, and I'm honoured to call you my friend. So thank you so much for being here today. All right.